Namaste, namaste, everybody. Baba Sharone here at the Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light. I was trying to get the music playing, but Mercury is in retrograde. So, for whatever reason, it is not working, but that's okay. I'm going to have it where it's not on Bluetooth. So, always learning something new. And I'm going to go like that. Now let's see if I guess nothing's going to work today with music. Oh, here we go. Something is happening. Yay. So I just want us now to take a moment and breathing. The fact that you showed up on a Saturday at 5 p.m., you could be doing a myriad of other things. But you chose to be here in this moment as we all have made the effort to do this. Because there's something within us that knows how important it is, and it doesn't matter if there's thousands of people or two or three. It is that calling that comes to us individually and collectively from the higher parts of ourselves, which is what we're going to talk about. But before we do, I just want us to breathe the holy sacred in-breath and out-breath with the intention of being able to sense and feel and know the expansiveness of who you truly are. You're able to see through the illusions and the delusions of this world. A great flowering like a beautiful lotus is unfolding within our hearts and our minds and saying that we are truly something much greater than what we perceive in this world, that we have an identity that transcends this world. And there's little glimpses and triggers to bring our attention to this, and we are now paying attention. We choose to pay attention to this part of ourself that has been with us always and is eternal. So we're just simply going to take these few moments here to simply breathe with the intention that we want to be aware, integrated, and connected with those higher parts of ourselves that transcend the limitation of this physical, mental, and emotional world. So we simply breathe the holy sacred in-breath and out-breath. Each and every holy sacred in-breath and out-breath connects you deeper and more directly into the many layers of who you are, connects you into your multi-dimensional selves, connection you with your eternal self of the soul, the divine spark that resides within you, your connection to the divine, your connection to the eternal creator. And here in this moment, here in this moment is sacred space and sacred ground. For you choose to walk the path of your own unfolding consciousness and enlightenment. So we breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath, reminding us we breathe the breath of Brahma, the breath of the divine. We can feel a sense of expansiveness now happening. Transcending our physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Our electromagnetic field moves out, and we attract those radiant ones who have hurt us. Namaste, namaste, family of light. So wonderful to see everybody here. And hello, Jenny, who is here at the Cosmic Center. The first thing I want to mention to everybody, breaking news, is that the center is going to be fully opened as of July the 12th. So there will be a lot of announcements regarding that, but we are going to open it up fully for all activities. We will always have Zoom because we have many people that are not local or would not be able to make it physically to the center, which is located here in Sarasota, Florida. But it is reaching and touching the hearts and minds of everybody all around the world. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, and then we're going to say our prayers and I'll have this discussion, was, we did take a time to just start off with a meditation. And actually, yesterday I did several 10-minute meditations that is going to be offered to the public. And, as I was doing these meditations, most certainly I felt, and the people who were here, automatically our whole energy shifted. It all shifted in this sense of peace, in this sense of balance came, and it was not coming necessarily from the world. It was coming from what is known as the Asi Shalom, the divine peace that we're connected to. There's on way higher frequencies of light. We have this sense of calm to transcend the distractions, of a physical, material world. It's in us. We are programmed, our DNA holds these codes to be able to be transcended into this physical, mental, and emotional reality we find ourselves in. But like anything else, you have to practice. You have to practice. And so, how do we practice? Well, we have to shut the noise down. We have to be more in control of our thoughts or aware of our thoughts that we're bringing in and sending out positive thoughts, uplifting thoughts, loving thoughts, because guess what? Those thoughts create, and our words create. And so when you realize this, you start to be very well aware of what you are permitting to be in your mind and what you speak, because it all has to do with frequency that will either limit you or frequency that's going to expand you. So, the topic is becoming aware of our multi-dimensional selves. And so let's just start off with our memory of being a small child as far back as you can go. And everybody's experience is going to be a little different, but let's just say you came in with a complete blank. We can all say that. And we are getting cues by the people around us. But I would say that at some point, we have a vague memory of like coming into this awareness that was you trying to figure out, okay, what you are and what's going on around you. But there was that part of you, okay, that before you got programmed, before you started to try to find your way around your little world that you found yourself out with your parents, or siblings, or the people who are around you, your family, or, school, there was some part of innocence that you held. And so that's the part that we want to come back to, is that part of innocence, to hold that innocence and simply intending, simply intending to say, I want to recapture that sense of innocence I had as a small child, my first recollection prior to me becoming aware of my current circumstances and trying to adapt to that. And this is something you can give reflection to later on, or perhaps you can, grasp at now. But it is really one of the foundations is holding on, connecting to that frequency of innocence when we first came into this world. Next thing that we want to do is that we want to recall memories in our early childhood and early time. For example, when we would look at the stars and how it was special looking at the sky and the clouds and the stars. What feeling did that give you? What wonderment or awe were you experiencing? Did you have a sense as you started to explore the world now and looking up at the sky, looking at these brilliant celestial lights that were beaming down, a sense of majestic, a sense of there's a lot going on that I don't know, this sense of there's way more going on. This is the stuff that we want to recapture because it's going to assist us in coming where there is doubt, no doubt whatsoever that we are interdimensional beings. Once you know this in your bones, okay, then there's no stopping you to all of the amazing experiences that will take place. I have to say that my major healings, okay, and of course I've done healing and watched diet, and I've gone to chiropractors and I've had massage, and I've had occasions of going to medical doctors and seeing what's going on with the body and all of that. But I must say that my major healings outside of the divine guidance to go somewhere and get a particular treatment has come from higher dimensional realms that I've connected to. The most recent was some weeks ago. I was really experiencing pain in the tailbone area, right? The spine going like this section towards the tailbone, and it radiated out to the right hip, like a little spot in the right hip, and also to the left. Okay. And it didn't stop me from what I was going, but it was, it was quite annoying. And I prayed. I said, I would like this pain to go away. I would like for it to go away. And in my dream state, or I should say dream experience, there was a guide, and the guide told me that I was exercising my body in this other dimension. I could recollect through my body a certain way. And then this guide says to me, like three segments, 3 days, something to do with three. Well, as it turns out, in 3 days, the first day, that pain that was on the tailbone left. The pain that was in the left hip left the second day, and the pain that was in the right hip left the third day. Now, that was a real experience, not operating on this physical level here where we are at the moment, but on an expanded level. And all of us can do that. So before we go more into that, I want to share my screen because I want us to say these sacred prayers that are important. Okay. So let us start with the great invocation. Then after we do the great invocation, we're going to say Gabriel's divine love and golden light invocation. Because when we set our intentions are so powerful. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. I want to chat a little bit about the great invocation, because part of the great invocation, okay, is to wake us up. Because it says, from the center where the will of God is known, let the purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. And so the will of God is why we are here in this unfolding of the divine plan. We have actually, when I say we, that higher, magnificent part of ourselves that made a decision that an aspect of ourselves would come into this earth. And the reason? Because of our capacity to hold unconditional love. We're here for our Earth Mother to assist her in her ascension. And so your walk has always been about waking up and unfolding and enlightenment as to your purpose, why you're here, and your mission. And part of that has to do with our unfoldment, which brings us into the full knowledge that, wait a minute, there's more going on here. We're at a point of an octave in our unfoldment where we are in the generation that was able to see our globe from the perspective of the moon. That is a great paradigm shift. And now you can even see what our planet looks like from the perspective of Mars. Is a pinpoint of light. So these are all shiftings that are going on now. Okay, all are triggers on a massive scale, for humans in general, but most certainly for light workers. We may be a little bit ahead of the curve because life has challenged us to fulfill our mission. That challenge can come sometimes pretty severe. That challenge can come in a way that you may find yourself in despair. That challenge can come where there's this knowing that you must do something and you can't shake it. Whichever way it comes to you, it leads you to this point of understanding that, hands bar, we are multi-dimensional beings. Now, I would say that the construct, I would say that the powers that be, who don't want you to necessarily know this, but most certainly you have your avatars of light that have come on the planet. It's Jesus the Christ, the Buddha, Zoroaster, Allah, so many others that have come and gave an indication that there's a higher aspect to life. There's a higher dynamic of life. And the thing is, though, religion has also been used to control, as governments have. And so they may have this construct to say, well, these are the rules. But where the rules are really written us in your heart, that's where the rules are. Your own divine journey of unfolding. You take bits and pieces, and you most certainly go to lectures or you go to classes, and it's your quest to learn. But all through that, you discern. All through that, you say, I resonate to this and I take this, and I'm not so much resonating to that, so I'm not going to, because ultimately it is our personal journey of unfoldment. And now we've come to a point where we have to, we have to be aware that we're multidimensional to do the higher work. So my own experience, I will tell you, is that doing the work, of course, I'm aware of the fact that, there is a higher being, a higher light, and a myriad of worlds. As Jesus said, my Father has many kingdoms, has many worlds. I'm aware of that. But at some point in my personal unfoldment, it came to a point where it says, okay, now you're needed, not so much on the physical realm. Of course, I'm here in the physical realm, but we need you consciously on higher levels. I find myself working on the astral plane, and my job there is to bring light on the astral plane, because that's not shocking to me anymore, because I realize I am multidimensional. So our goal and our personal journey is that we start paying attention. We start thinking back as to who we are before we arrived here. What was our mindset back then? What was our purity and our innocence back then? Start to hold on to that energy and intend that I am ready to make my steps of truly embracing my multidimensional self. I am not going to ignore the little signs that come my way. In fact, I'm going to pay attention and build on it. And guess what? We don't have to do it all by ourselves, because we have the Ami Shaddai, the family of light, that is around us all the time, just waiting for us to ask. Why? Because we are in a world of choice. And it is up for us to ask for the divine intervention. That's what prayers are about. That's what petitions are about. That's what affirmations are about. That's what visualizations are about, is to bring in that higher part to say, I'm a co-creator, and I'm also calling on those all who love me, support me, and fill me up to assist. And so with that, I want to read now Gabriel's Divine Love and Golden Light Invocation. And let's all say this together. I invite the divine love and golden light active in the Christ consciousness to flow gracefully through me and anchor upon the earth. I now ask for an awakening connection within my DNA to divine love, compassion, and light from the highest source to the 12 strands of DNA within me, creating the full helix of light that activates my 12 chakra system. I ask for my soul's alignment to all the divine love and light that I can receive for the good of my evolution and the evolution of the earth at this time. I invite the assistance of the angels, archangels, masters, and all the beings of light who work for my awakening to be with me in this process. May all beings awaken to their divine potential and bring the presence of divine love into their hearts. May ever more grace flow through us all to bless this planet. May the earth be honored in a new way that allows our beautiful planet to thrive. May every heart feel the gifts of this loving presence within them, so peace may prevail on earth. Thank you, God, for this and all our blessings. Robin Richardson, would you please mute? Would you please mute? Thank you. May every heart feel the gifts of this loving presence within them, so peace may prevail on earth. Thank you, God, for this and all our blessings. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Okay. Okay. So, okay, I see 2 Robin Richardsons on here, but that's fine. Okay, here we go. All righty. So, that prayer now, let me talk a little bit about prayer and intention. At the anchoring light, which some of you do participate in, we say these prayers of intention over and over and over again. And you could say that that is like, would be an affirmation, is that those things that you repeat over and over and over and over and over again, you actually become what it is, that you are mentally repeating your thoughts, your intentions, your words, because they all create. And so one of the things in becoming our multidimensional selves is that have we been saying prayers like we just did, those 2 prayers? Those 2 prayers most certainly are prayers that will bring you very much into the awareness of your multidimensional self. You say those prayers over and over and over again, or you say affirmations, or you visualize yourself as a radiant being, expanding and expanding. We have so many tools that we can use, okay, to start to reconnect that 12-strand DNA. The frequency band of the quotient of light that we're able to hold in our body, that it doesn't fleet away, that we can now hold it consistently, okay, which allows us to have our consciousness in the 5th dimension, 6th, maybe 7th, and still have a physical body here. That's what the ascended masters do. There are masters on the earth. They've come into a physical body. Okay, but they're able to go up a whole spectrum of light, way beyond our human spectrum of light. And we're now, us, here on the earth, are now being able to beginning to do that. But like anything else, we have to intend it and we have to work at it. I find for myself, just saying prayers, and I get to say these prayers at the anchoring light every Monday, for years and years, I've become the prayer. Okay, the intentions that you hold, okay, you become that, you create it to be. And so, brothers and sisters, I will tell you, if you now, and you are needed, let me say this, you are needed on the higher dimensional planes, conscious. So I remember to share with you a lady, Rosemary Altea. Some of you may know her. Rosemary Altea is a very, very, very famous international medium. She was featured on Larry King, CNN, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, how old it was. I remember this because I got her book and it was a life-changing experience for me at that time. She again was saying, hey, I'm operating as a medium, I'm working on this level and I see this. So that was just like, wow, obviously. And I believe this woman, and she came from the heart, and like this absolutely must be real. It was authentic. Of course, there are those people who could not relate to that, and just think that this is absolutely crazy. And there are many people on the world that are like that. They are in this box. They're not close to even going out of that yet. Although science is now hedging on that. Science is now finally, these 10 years are going to be something. And that is why we really want to be aware of our multidimensional selves, because it's going to assist us in embracing all the change that's coming down the pike. And so, like, the idea that, this life after death is old hat. It's like everybody should know that. Everyone should know that. But not everybody does. But the ones that are ready to embrace this and move into these higher dimensional levels of ourselves, embrace it, and not only embrace it, utilize it, are needed on the planet to assist others that are clueless. They're clueless. They just think this is it, and they don't even know what happens after the body dies. They have no clue. They figure that's it. I'm shocked because it's not our world, but there are millions of people who think that way. They think that this is a one-shot deal, and then afterwards, that's it. And I actually was watching a program, and it had to do with, people doing what is known as the black market. They're doing various things with that. And this gentleman that does like this scam out of Israel with, he does that with investments. And so the reporter, the woman who was doing this series, asked him, well, don't you feel bad that you are milking these people, some of them, their whole, life savings? And his thing was this is what he said. He said, well, you only have one life, and I don't want to live poor. I want to live my life to the fullest. And he said this on his yacht. How he got his yacht was scamming people because he thought that this was it. Now, how sad is that? So, you're having a lot of suffering on the planet because people don't know. They think that this is it. They don't know there's so much more than this physical world, so much more. And that it's us now to pierce through that delusion and illusion. And if you're listening to this, then you are the one. You are the one to do it, to walk on your path. Now, some years ago, I had a dream experience. I call it the Tree of Eden. And of course, part of our multidimensional selves is when we start seeing synchronicities and we start paying attention until it just becomes like normal. All right. It's just we start operating that way. And with this dream came this information to me. It was very hard to get, but somehow it landed in my hands. And when I read it, it was, and this is not the first time, another thing has happened too, but when I read it, it was like it was written for me specifically. It didn't say, Dear Sharon Elizabeth, but it could have. That's how intimate this book was to me. And it said, we are so glad that you have arrived, that you can work now with the angels and archangels and the masters on higher levels. I dropped the book. I wasn't ready for it. I was like, in fact, I didn't touch the book for almost a year because that was just a new paradigm shift for me. And a lot of this is going to be like a new shift for us, as we take one little step and then we get comfortable with it. We take the next step, then we get comfortable with it. But guess what? Guess what? Just as how Rosemaria Altia told me, that medium I told you about, she said to me, Sharon Elizabeth, my real work is working with souls on the inner planes with Jesus, setting them free, educating them, just not even in our frequency or our reality. She said that's really where I do my real work. She in this work, she helps people. Obviously, the work she does is very sacred, very holy, and tremendously healing for myriads of people. But she was there before I was in saying that her real work is on these higher levels. And so here I have a book that says we are so, because somebody there on a higher level who wrote this book, no, there are others out there that can do this. And somehow this came into me, and I was like, whoa, I got to digest this and process it. But guess what? Hey, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So the more that we embrace that we are interdimensional beings, that's the first part. Then thinking back, where was I? What was I doing? How was I feeling when I first became aware of the world? What was that innocence like that I had, where I thought I could do everything? I could be anything, right? What, remember that? Remember that energy? Why can't I do it? Sure, I could do it. I could do anything. I can do anything because we come from that. But then in this world where we find ourselves in the matrix, it's a false construct, or as the Hindus say, the world of Maya. World of Maya wants to recreate like a simulation, if you will, of an altered reality of our true reality. And so we are in this boxed in world. And for many, they're in the box, and the box is the only thing that exists, and that's it. But for those of us that have been awakening, are awakened, and are continuing on our personal path, I will say to each and every one of you that are hearing these words, there's no accidents. You have the ability to work on higher dimensional levels, connect on higher dimensional levels, and do your highest service in multiple ways. If you say, I am ready to expand my consciousness and awareness, I'm here to serve. And why do we want to serve? Oh my gosh, we are blessed beyond measure for the benefits that we receive. That we receive. To be able, if you say, I'm here to do my highest service, bring it on. I'm here to do my highest service. And the universe starts bringing that on for you. And sometimes to break out of this crusted way we think, it could be done with ease and grace. Sometimes you need a little nudge, like to wake you up, to push you, to challenge you, to go beyond what you think you can do, to get to the other side of it and say, whoa, look at this. Wow. So each journey, each step that you do in intending to be aware of your multidimensional self, embrace it, say, I'm ready to hold the memory. And maybe you can't hold the memory of all of it, but you can most certainly hold the memory of some of it. You can start by recording your dreams. That's one way. That's an excellent tool. Another tool I have found to be very powerful are the names of God. And here at the center, we do use the names of God. These are the 72 names of God is in Exodus. They're sounds, just like open sesame, just like abracadabra. Again, we create, but these ancient holy sounds easily align us as we say it with this higher dynamic that we can attach ourselves to. It makes it, I find it very easy. It's much easier and accelerates our path. When we stop to do our meditations, okay, and we say, okay, it isn't like, okay, that's it, I'm good. No, we say, okay, what else can I do? How else can I help? What else can I do? And then you just come into the awareness that you sense and feel that there are radiant beings all around you. And when you need something, I need some healing, I need some guidance, because you're no longer restricted to having to just deal on this frequency. You can go the way, and they have a much higher perspective. The higher part of yourself has a higher perspective of everything. And that's why we always call upon divine timing at the divinely appointed time, because it's a whole nother perspective. And so when you start integrating these higher perspectives of yourself, you are easier to manage this level of existence. You move through this life, no matter the challenges, with ease and grace. You get to a point where you stay in your peace. You get to the point where you expect to be healthy and healing, and don't have to fall into the rules, if you will, of a physical world. That you can thrive, be healthy, no matter what age you are. You don't have to fall into the construct, well, you're this age, that means this has to happen, and so on and so forth. There are those who can transcend that and absolutely be ageless. Are we going to be here forever in this form? No, I don't think so. There is a higher evolution of which we're a part. But in that higher evolution that we're moving into, there's no stress or fear, because it's just going to be like opening up a new door and you're in a new, beautiful place. It makes life here more tolerable. It makes life here easier, even in the midst of chaos. And the most important thing I would say is that we are here to fulfill our dharma, our purpose, our mission. And we all here have these amazing higher hearts of compassion and unconditional love, and whatever it took on your life path to get to this point of having it, you have it. You have it. And so the fact that you have the higher heart open of unconditional love and compassion, which of course we continue to work on and work on and work on till it comes easier and easier and easier, says, okay, you've now graduated to new levels of service, new levels of service. And my understanding is that because we are multidimensional beings living in a multidimensional existence, that we are needed on many, many different levels. Because the divine plan is gargantuan in what it holds in the myriad of worlds. What's going to happen, okay, when people who are in this cube of this constriction, not having a clue, clueless that they're multidimensional, clueless, they don't even know what happens after death. Okay, that individual now, when they start seeing extraterrestrials upon the earth, that could absolutely make people go crazier than they already are, not being able to process that. Well, of course, if we're multidimensional, there are other beings that are multidimensional. How can we be the only ones? So I'd like to say then, particularly in these next 10 years, that are crucial years, that we challenge ourselves to embrace and make known the unknown. Because as you make known the unknown, your unfoldment your enlightenment continues to just radiate and unfold in magical ways. And as we do this, we are so blessed beyond measure, so blessed beyond measure. It's like you can give what you need to the universe, know it and trust it, which takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be committed. But you absolutely know in your bones that everything is going to be okay. You gave it, and then you are now trained, as my good and dear sister Robin would say, follow the spiritual breadcrumbs. So much easier, so much easier than trying to do it yourself. And knowing that the following the spiritual breadcrumbs is always coming from a place of love and great support. And as I said, we don't have to do this ourselves. There's so many sentient beings that also hold the light of compassion and unconditional love. And we simply implore them to assist and to help guide us, teach us. And things, those synchronicities will just come like that. You'll start training your mind to uh, uh, be very alert to those little nuances that come, because the more you're alert to that, it's like a spiritual muscle. Okay, you say, I'm going to really intend, I want to remember my dreams. Or something happens and it's unusual and you don't brush it aside because you're so busy. You make a note of it, write it down, or note to self. Whichever way it unfolds, let's become very aware of our multidimensional selves, because guess what? The big present with the big bow is. You transcend the limitations of this earth. You can receive healing that is just coming from the higher realms and higher guidance and higher wisdom to live your life with greater ease and peace and be a light to others who have not yet achieved that. We teach by example, and you can be an example. So, with that, I want to say and close with a divine name. And I'm going to put this name on here so everybody can repeat it. Just a moment. Let's see here. On I can't get to the chat for some reason, but let me put it on lower hands. Okay, so Mercury's in retrograde, and so it's still doing this kind of stuff for me. All right, here we go. I got it. Okay, it's going to be Yod, Hey, Vod, Hey, Yod, Hey, Yod, Hey, Vod, Yod, Hey, Vod, Hey, Yod, Hey, Shin, Vod, Hey, Shekinah. G-K-I-N-A-H. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I just wrote it, Shekinah, S-H-E-K-I-N-A-H, okay, and enter. We're going to end with this Trinity, names of God. I find it very, very powerful. Again, as you say these words, the names of God, there's 5 sacred languages. Many of you already know that. Hebrew is one of them. You also have Tibetan and Chinese and Sanskrit and Egyptian. But we're going to do the Hebrew for the Western mind is just the easier one to do. So we're going to say Yod Hey Vod Hey, Yod Hey Vod Hey, Yod Hey Shin Vod Hey Shekinah. And we're just going to start repeating that over and over and over again into a chant until we get into the zone of saying it. We'll start off slower and then we'll go faster. So let's all start. Yod Hey Vod Hey, Yod Hey Shin Vod Hey Shekinah, Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Yod He Bod He Yod He Shin Bod He Shekinah. Breathe. Eternal Father, Eternal Mother, as we now align with the cosmic Christ consciousness, the divine Maitreya, as we tap into our higher selves, into our monad, into the overself, into the divine human of the Atman Kadmon of which we are a part. We come together, united in hearts and minds together in our highest service to serve, that we are awakened into our transcendent self, able to sustain it at all times and have it flowering in our consciousness consistently. We thank you for the blessings bestowed upon us with this knowledge that we are so much more than we appear to be upon this earth. We thank you for your divine blessing, for your divine guidance, and we are held in your love and unconditionally supported upon our spiritual journey and unfoldment. Amen. Okay, everyone. It was wonderful to have you all here. If anybody would like to share anything, you can. you could raise your hand and you can talk, or you could put something in the chat. I am putting the Cosmic Center donation information on here, of course. We appreciate all of you who do support the center. We thank you for this loving, energetic exchange to continue the very important work that we do. So, as always, it is important, and we're excited that we can come together for those who are local to meet on the 12th. So, does anybody have anything to share? Robin.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, I'm sorry. I was running out of juice in my one iPad and had to switch over.
Okay, no problem.
Sharon Elizabeth, this was absolutely beautiful. It is right on time. Humanity is in such need, and what you brought forth today is that we need to remember our light and that we are the light to do this. I want you to know it empowers me on many different levels to go forth. And so thank you so much. And I want to thank you for being there every single week for us.
It's my my honor, my pleasure. We are all blessed beyond measure, and we all have our roles that we are to take, and only you can do the role of what you came here to do. You're it. So as you unflower, as you move your own path, it's like, hello, we need everybody. We need everybody. Oh, I remember the anchoring light. It was said, light workers, take your positions. Take your positions. This is not a test. This is the real thing. Okay, Michelle Reeves, would love to meet you one day. I'm from North Florida. I think I found some new recruits. Oh, that's wonderful, Michelle. Hey, we do various events, and now that we're opening up fully, we do put on some like major amazing events, and that could be something that could bring you and a group from North Florida to where we are here on the West Coast. That would be wonderful. So I see that happening. Okay, we're putting the intention that that's going to happen, Michelle. We will see each other in person at the divinely appointed time. But I'll see you in the inner planes anyway. So we'll talk in the inner planes. So no worries. And over time, we'll begin to keep the memory that we can bring it into this world. Okay, great. All right. And does anybody else have anything else that they would like to share? Okay. All righty then. If nothing else, I'm going to say namaste, namaste. We will be having our anchoring light Monday. Oh, Alan Steinfeld is having his workshop tomorrow. That's at 2:00. And talking about extraterrestrials, he's the guy that's in the know. That's a reality. I hope you all know that's going to be coming into our world, right? So we got to be, at least we are acclimated to that. The other people don't have a clue. Okay, Michelle, you would like to talk, so let me allow you to talk. Hold on. Hi, Michelle.
Hi there. I just wanted to let you know that I only came in like an hour in, I think, whenever we had the light transmission the other night. But I guess we had two nights in a row. I wasn't expecting there to be another one, but I caught it like partway through, and oh my gosh, like amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff.
So good.
Yeah. So, and we just did a Singing with the Seraphim on Sunday. And okay, for those who are here, Reverend Robin already knows. I need to let Jenny know about this. So at the Singing of the Seraphim, I had said that, that night or early in the morning, I had a dream. I'm not going to call it a dream, but a dream experience. And, on the astral plane. And basically, I'm just going to summarize it because some of you did hear the full dream already. I was, meeting with an archon. The guy kind of looked like a mafioso kind of guy, that kind of feel to it. And basically it was like, I was speaking to him on equal terms, because we're going to do the seraphim, we're going to do the mystical ceremony. And he wanted me to do something, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. He was pissed off, pissed. He was pissed off. And next thing you know, I'm excluded. It was like this place I was in. It was very elegant. It was like a big, tremendous cocktail party, and everybody's dressed to the nines. I guess this was his thing. He was giving this big party, and I didn't go along with the program. He gets pissed off, and so I'm exiled into another space. And he sends one of his goons in, and he has a pen, and I break the pen, and whatever the symbolism that is. But anyway, I then find myself out on the street. I'm dressed in this beautiful silver satin gown with a white top. I think it might have been feathers. I'm walking in the ghetto. That's what I am. So I'm definitely standing out, but I'm bringing light. That's how I find it. So we did the powerful mystical ceremony on Sunday. And then that next night, okay, in the morning, I have an experience where I see who I understand to be Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, so close, like how you can imagine somebody nose to nose. I mean, I looked into his eyes, and then it was a special experience for me to see and note the beard, because sometimes they have to really let you know who they are. They got to give you the symbols so you don't make a mistake. So the beard was very close to the skin, well groomed. And why that was done, there is a picture of Jesus that I'm always in awe of, with this little girl. She was 9 years old. I think her name is like Anna Katarina. And she has this painting. She was 9 when she did this painting of Jesus. It's a beautiful painting, and the beard is like that. So what I was just telling Robin, actually, and also Reverend Annie, is that the work that we're doing on interdimensional levels, shaking up some things up there, okay, where they're getting upset. That's the work. That's where a lot of the source is all coming from. And but how wonderful. Okay, that when you embrace your interdimensional self, Jesus shows up and says, hey, I got your back. No worries. Good job. How often does that happen? It's really a lot of fun. So yeah. Thank you, Sharon Elizabeth. Beautiful. Thank you, Susan. And always appreciate everybody, love everybody that, comes, because we could be definitely doing other things.
I think
Okay.
I know the symbolism you were referring to when you broke the pen.
Yeah.
I think basically that was in symbolism because you weren't signing a contract with him or his goon or whatnot.
Correct.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. I broke the pen. I
Right.
twice. Boom. I
Like,
broke-
no, I will not sign any contract.
That's right. And then he was
And
pissed
then he got
off.
mad because of it.
Oh, and
That's
Sharon,
so cool.
Elizabeth,
Yeah.
when you were talking about the dream state, maybe all of us that heard this transmission today can band together and do some beautiful work, because you
Yeah.
said maybe one day I'll get to see you. Maybe one day on these planes in the dream state, we can all meet each other and do the work that you were talking about.
And you know what? A lot of us are doing it, but we don't have the memory. So I only know a couple of people. Sarion is one who is able to bring back the memory from the inner planes. He's pretty good at doing that. And I think one other person I met, so we may get little pieces of it as we're starting, where our abilities are coming back online. Our 12-strand DNA is starting to kind of refed and come back again as we put our intention out there, as we hold our light out there, as we embrace our interdimensional selves out there. All of this starts to create, this momentum for us to get to where we can be the greatest potential, which is working on a multidimensional level, So it is so wonderful to have you all here, because we are working together as the family of light. No mistakes. So with that, beautiful ones, I'm going to say namaste, and I will see you soon.
Bye-bye.